don't think I've actually done it yet. I might just be imagining it, or maybe
I started the recording right there, just so you know, so no one knows what we're talking about, and that's okay.
My hair smells like cigarettes, but I didn't smoke cigarettes at the end.
I revealed all of my personal information, bank accounts, social.
That will come in handy, except I know too much.
Yeah.
I know better.
Yeah. Well, I need you to know it because I'm just very forgetful. So.
Yeah.
That's your failsafe.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if I just post on the internet and I ever need it, it's always there.
That's why I've buried spare keys to my car and apartment all over town, just in case. That's not true. Don't go looking.
Oh, I'm glad you clarified that.
Don't go looking. It's true. All right. So we're back, I guess.
We're back.
I guess. Are you sure you don't want a microphone? Mm-hmm. Okay.
She said yes.
Of course.
You don't have to talk, but if you feel the need to make a comment.
You can. Okay. Hold on. Well,
feel free to sidetrack as much as you want.
Yeah.
Well, he just cut me out.
just delete her whole track.
Can you just cut off the microphone, like, from the editing?
Yeah. Do you want a microphone? You can tap me if you have something to say.
Worst case scenario, he just deletes you and we reference a ghost during
oh, no.
Yeah.
We don't do ghosts here. Just kidding. We've done so many ghost things already.
I don't believe in ghosts, but I do believe in history.
Hey, the designs are up. I don't know if the merch is up yet, but the design is there. I'm going to turn us up a little bit. If you're listening on the radio, turn it down.
If this is the 1800s and you're listening on the radio, please.
We're all sitting around the fire listening to the radio.
You leave Guglielmo Marconi out of this.
That's a name.
Inventor of the radio.
Oh,
why do you just know that?
The Marconi radio? Yes, that's true.
Why?
All right, so what are we doing tonight?
Spooky
do we want to
stuff.
do introductions? Do we do that?
Let's do. Let's.
What is
do
our
it.
format? Can we get our format written out for me so I can?
Our format is cold open and then introduction.
Okay.
Cold open, silly jokes.
And then I sidetrack us on something.
Usually a movie or
So
YouTube video.
I was listening to Filthy Casuals in the
Right
car
on
today,
schedule.
And we're there.
and they always do the same introduction where one of them introduces everyone, and it's always the same for like 300 episodes now.
Right.
And then on this one, he messed it up for the first time ever and left it in the cut.
Yeah.
And he was like, you know what? Maybe we just scrap the whole thing and start doing a cold open. And I was like, and he was like, what's that? And it's like, well, it's like we just start talking about nothing and eventually we work into it, but we just put the song somewhere in the middle of that. And I was like, man, what a great idea. We've been doing that for 60-something episodes now.
With the song, so in this case, our song will be right after, man, what a great idea.
Our song?
And then the song hits.
What is our song, Norman? Is our song a slamming screen door?
I was going to keep going with the song, but I forgot all the lyrics.
Same.
Turns out I'm not in 7th grade anymore.
It's a Taylor Swift song, I think.
Yeah, I have no
It
idea.
is.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Old, quote, country
Norman
Taylor.
was born bald, bearded, and too cool for us.
Basically.
But
All
we
right.
knew that.
So that's Norman. I guess you can do your intro now. You start.
Well, you just introduced me. What's going on, y'all? It's your boy, Norm. A.K.A. Norman. A.K.A.
Unhappy Bananas.
Unhappy Bananas. That is indeed me.
A.K.A. the realest MC.
AKA
This side of the Rio Grande.
Milk Bones? What was it?
A.K.A. Milk Bone Brother number 1.
No, Bone Sauce.
Bone Sauce!
Bone
Sauce
Sauce Brother
Buddy.
number 1.
That merch is also up on our store right now.
Oh, great tie-in. Also AKA last minute research. I'll throw that in there too.
Oh, yeah.
Just 'cause
We don't have to talk about that. It's
not
all,
relevant
It's all right.
for today's topic.
You were like, "Oh, it's personal stories. I don't have to do any research."
Plot twist.
And then it wasn't.
A little miscommunication. But we got the ever famous Tanner.
Me? I thought I was the least famous of us.
Notice the question mark at the end of
It's
that.
actually probably
okay.
true. But
I'm still Tanner. That's the wrong show, but we haven't recorded that one in like 2 months. There's been some C3 drama, so
Probably
we're
should
taking
talk-
a hiatus.
Yeah. That's cool.
I could
That's just
tell
a quick
by 2
update on the
messages
sister
in-
show.
I can tell by 2 messages in the Twitter chat. I was like, "Uh-oh." And then I was going to ask,
I should check the wire.
Anyway,
um,
the hosts are working some things out in their personal lives.
And be back on schedule in no time.
Yes, for sure. Because we're dying to talk about this whole Blizzard thing.
oh man,
Nope.
I was
No,
talking
we're not
about
gonna do it here.
earlier. No.
Nope.
I was just talking about it
No,
with
no,
Sam
no.
earlier. End story. There's
Okay.
also an Overwatch poster in my car I don't know what to do with.
Burn it.
Oh,
Kind of wanna. Anyway,
I'm
That's
Emily.
coming from me.
yeah, I feel that. Like I was diva last Halloween. I almost said Christmas.
Emily, what the hell are you doing?
They're very closely related in my heart. But I am Emily. Actually, the day this comes out is my birthday.
Really?
So I just want to throw that out there. If it comes out the 20th. If it doesn't, then it's not.
Oh, okay. It should,
Yeah.
ideally.
So for my
Happy birthday on that day,
Thank you
right
so
now.
much. Yes, yes,
yeah,
yes.
because it would be today. So happy birthday.
Or perhaps yesterday, if you're late listening to the episode.
I'm so sorry I missed your birthday.
It's cool. I missed yours.
True.
Norman didn't tell anyone he had a birthday.
I'm not the type of, oh, hey guys, it's my birthday. Everybody give me something. I'm like,
For my
Man.
birthday, if you could please subscribe to my Twitch channel.
Oh, what's
Ninja
that?
Squirrel, NJASQRL.
Also, her Patreon
Please.
and ours for her birthday.
Also, please.
and if you see me on the streets, give me $1.
That's just as good. That's tax free right there.
I have
All
a dollar
right.
in my pocket.
So this week, like y'all know how it works normally. She has $1 in her
$1
pocket.
and some change.
So normally we do a topic where one of us does the research and presents the topic, and the other two listen to the topic, and we laugh and joke, arguably too much. And
No argument.
yeah, okay, too much, fine.
Too much, but like that's our shtick.
That's our thing.
So yeah, that's what you come for. This week we're not doing that.
Hi, moms.
Oh yes, hi. This week we're each going to present a small topic that will take up approximately 1/3 of a show. Ideally.
Ideally.
Do we want to hit that one more time all the way around, or
Ideally.
we got
Ideally.
it? No, I'm not doing it. So who wants to go first?
I can, you know what? I'll knock it out. I'll
All
go
right,
first.
all right.
I'll go first. Why? Because I can.
I sat in a restaurant and typed mine like a loser today in front of people, so I'm feeling pretty good about it.
Yeah,
I
no,
just thought about mine really hard, and I've got a
Cool.
book next to me.
Right. I mean, I was at work, so like I was ignoring customers and
So what is
giving
the
terrible service.
over?
Yeah.
Sorry, I just remember the last time someone got secret shopped and did that. What's the overarching theme for these topics? Did we come up with one? Because we all texted someone who was supposed to do that for us, but he never told me what it was.
He told
just
me
said
he was
badass.
excited to hear it.
Cool. Love you, Wes.
Yeah, I just got badass. I was like, oh, okay, cool. Well, thank you.
He said, for real, excited to hear it. And I didn't respond.
So,
Wait, what if? Okay, so let's.
so the whole idea is we texted Wes to make sure we don't have the same topic, but that they're close enough that we can tie them in with one theme.
Oh no.
But he never got back to us on the theme side of things.
That feels pretty good.
So we know it's 3 different things.
So I think this is. I think we have a golden opportunity to.
At the end, we tie it together.
Yeah, we do it live. We tie this together live.
Are you going to make me do the impression? I'm
Please,
not going to
please,
do the
please, please,
impression.
please, please.
No.
Ah.
No, because moms listen, and I can't use the word that...
That's why I didn't do it immediately.
Yes.
Well,
Even though they're fans. Well, mine is. Go ahead.
yeah.
Do you know who we're talking about at all?
Emily's mom? Your mom? Are we talking about moms?
No,
Yeah, we're talking
it's
about,
a conservative TV and radio host.
What's his name?
Oh, I know who you're talking
Bill
about.
O'Reilly.
Yes.
Well,
Yeah. No,
My-
go ahead
my
before
subject,
this goes further. Please go ahead.
I'll keep digging.
so I've decided to do my report as I stand in front of my 8th grade class on cursed items.
Okay.
Specifically one.
I'm interested, and I can tell that this is not going to tie into mine at all.
Awesome.
Well, it can tie into mine. Maybe I'll be the bridge.
We'll figure it out. So I played D&D. I haven't actually played in a while, but one thing I was always interested in is just cursed items and how it changes your character. So then I started looking into actual real life cursed items, and it's a thing. Well, depending on what you believe,
It's a thing.
If you're Tanner, it's not a thing. But what I
believe
found,
in one curse.
give you one.
What? No, I said I believe in one curse.
Okay.
The Madden curse?
No.
I believe in that.
The curse of 23, 25,
27, bud.
27. That's the one.
Curse of 27.
We're a bunch
Yeah.
of famous people, successful people
Every
that have their
handsome,
whole lives ahead of them.
handsome
They end.
famous man dies at 27.
And also Amy Winehouse.
And her, yes.
What about? No. No.
Dude, it's a thing. Just get on with it, though.
I can no.
Okay.
No. It's
Okay.
it's a thing.
All right.
We'll talk about it later.
We'll do a whole episode over that at some point.
Ooh.
So what I have it's what's known as the woman from Limb. I hope I'm saying that right. It's just Lemb. Limb.
Lamb,
Yeah.
but with an E.
Or limb, but with an E.
Limb.
Or Lem, exactly like that.
So it's a curious artifact. It's a statue carved from pure limestone. It was unearthed in Lim, which
Well, that
Where is
explains that.
in Cyprus.
Greece?
Texas?
Cyprus Lim. No. No.
Well, you never know.
Yeah. Well, I don't know now. But it was unearthed in 1878. So it's been around for a long time. And it's actually also known as the goddess of death. So the statue has belonged to at least 4 different families, and each one has met an untimely fate.
I'm very interested.
Oh yeah. Well,
Intrigued. you might
so
say.
the first owner was Lord Elfont.
Love it.
Yeah.
Yes, please.
Lord Elfont. Within a
Thank you.
6-year period after becoming the owners, all 7 members of the Elfont family died in suddenly mysterious manners.
7 members?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So there's no real record for
That's a
what
lot
their
to cook
deaths
for.
entailed, but 7 of them dead, no longer around. So the next owner was Ivor Manussi.
I'm
I'm going to
need
take your
that.
word for all of these.
I'm going to need that spelled.
Ivor Manussi.
Do it in your Ezio voice.
Oh, that's offensive.
Ezio voice.
Okay, that's just going to be offensive.
Oh.
He might,
Italian?
I mean, now Manussi is his whole entire family died within a 4-year period. So then it was transferred to the Lord Thompson Noel, and
You got that one.
thank you. Now they obtained the idol
might be
and
Noel.
also lost his family in 4-year periods. So we already have 3 families, and each one in the span of 4 years just gone.
Okay.
It's really hard to call that a coincidence. I mean, there has to,
Watch me.
I mean, I feel like there has to be, something there. Now there's different beliefs, but I'll get into that after
Has
I finish
anyone,
this.
scanned it with anything? Is it radioactive?
Ooh, well, I'll
Did
get
they die of
into this.
cancer? Because otherwise,
They could have died of being Spider-Man and getting killed by a villain or something.
That's true.
Radioactive can cause lots of stuff.
No,
Have
sure,
you
sure,
seen
sure.
the movie with the janitor?
No.
The
I
janitor.
obviously
No, I
haven't.
That movie with the janitor that gets superpowers because he's cleaning up radioactive mess and he falls in it? Man, that's a cult classic. Y'all gotta watch
Oh,
that.
I know what you're talking about. I've never seen it, but I know what you're talking
Look,
about.
can you avoid throwing things in my apartment, Norman?
My B.
I mean, the studio in our high-rise tower.
Yeah.
Where
Ow.
we record.
And also plan the demise of Spider-Man. So after that, for a while after that, the statue actually vanished, and it was kind of missing MIA for quite a while until it wound up in the hands of Sir Alan Biverbrock.
Did you go a little British there at the end?
You know, not great, but you know,
It's something.
now he and his wife and their 2 daughters were the next to die. Now, Sir Alan Biverbrock was next to purchase the statue. Shortly after, his wife and 2 daughters died from a strange illness, followed by Sir Alan. A short time later, Sir Biverbrock had 2 remaining sons, and though they weren't big believers in the occult, they were scared enough by the sudden and strange deaths of their 4 of their family members that they decided to donate the statue to the Royal Scottish Museum in Edinburgh.
I love that. Hey, this thing kills people. Have
Want
it?
it?
Well, so it's interesting.
It's free.
It's like when you're hanging out with people and like, if your
Hey,
food's
this tastes
good,
really bad.
you never offer it.
Right.
But if it's bad, you're like, you try this. You gotta
Everybody try this right now.
It's so bad.
Oh, for example, the other night we were at the bar and everybody tried this vegan burger that I was telling you about earlier.
bad.
It was disgusting.
It's
We
pretty
all had to
bad.
try it.
I was actually pretty sad.
It was
Why?
pretty disappointing.
It's because I've had that burger before
It
they
wasn't
changed,
vegan before, and
and
now
it was good, and now it's not. Not because it's vegan, but because
It just wasn't good.
it wasn't good. But maybe because it was vegan.
it was.
Now, before the seemingly cursed artifact could finish its dark world, Biberbrock's 2 surviving sons, so they donated it to the museum.
Wait, I've been there.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Which museum?
Maybe.
the Royal Scottish Museum.
Yeah, it's Royal Scottish Museum, and yeah,
Probably
Is it in
Scotland.
yeah,
Bruh,
yeah. You might
how have I not
seen it.
died yet? What the heck?
You may die. I mean, it has been 4 years.
You're right.
So, after it was donated, to top off the mystery, the museum curator who handled the statue died within a year.
Bro, that's probably radioactive.
But
Was it
also,
shiny and
wait.
green?
Let's consider museum curators average age 107.
True. She's got a point there.
I mean, I also feel like it depends on where
the museum is?
Yeah, 'cause I
No,
feel like-
they're all 107.
all of them.
Yes.
I feel like British museum curators are a lot older than.
That's because British people are just,
They all look a million.
they carry themselves smarter than everyone.
That's not 100% true.
Brexit.
It's the accent. It sounds smart, and then they say the words, and you just write down the words and you read them. And you're like, wait, no.
Wait a second.
It needs to be
What's
like
a
a filter or
bruv?
something. A bruv.
It's like pal.
No, I know.
No, I'm
didn't
explaining
know
it to
that.
him because he sounded
Oh, yeah.
confused.
Bro,
Oh, I've
it's
always-
like bro. Or bruh.
Bruv.
Bro.
I prefer pal.
Do we need to watch Kingsman again?
Yes. What kind of question is that? I told you earlier it was my 4th favorite movie.
No.
Oh wait, I changed my mind. No, it doesn't matter. I won't go through my ranking of movies right now.
So now the figure does rest in the Scottish Museum, with a woman, or the woman of Lem statue now rests guarded from the world behind glass, or should I say, we are guarded from it.
Is that death-proof glass? Is that what that is?
Is there death-proof glass? I guess bulletproof glass is death-proof glass, right?
Not if you're not a bullet.
Good point.
I just googled it. That is the place that I went. We went through really quickly because they were about to close. So I'm not so sure.
But you've probably seen the statue. But it was
probably seen
behind
the
the death-proof
statue.
glass, so you're fine.
Unfortunately, I also did go to. That was the same city. Can you stop looking at that picture because I hate it?
Is that the same picture?
It's the same well, I was looking at a text, which I apologize for doing, and that picture just happened to be the last thing I sent that person.
Of course it was. Anyway.
Anyway, I also in Edinburgh is that cool graveyard I keep talking about. It's a very cool graveyard, and I'm gonna keep talking about it. And then one day I'll do a story about it.
It's a cool graveyard.
That's what I should have done today.
We
Then
should all go
everything
to
could be
Scotland.
Scottish. Yeah, please. Here's the thing.
My thing's not Scottish, so...
Well, neither is mine now, but it could have been.
So yeah, you guys have to change your story to revolve around mine now.
Okay.
Well, I can.
I'm not gonna.
I got improv. I don't got
Mine
improv.
ends with a thing that's still there, so...
Well, my thing's still there.
We'll do stuff that's still there.
Yeah.
Mine is too.
Our stuff is still there.
We got a
It all still
topic.
We've linked it.
exists.
Scary stuff that's still there.
Yeah.
Wow.
All right.
We are innovators.
We are.
So this is actually the start of probably not the next
Something
thing I
new.
do, but
It feels so right to be here with you. Oh.
is this a Taylor Swift?
No,
lyric?
it's High School Musical. Please get out of this home.
Me or him, the person that owns this home. I
No,
mean, this
I'm
high
directing
rise.
you. No. High School Musical is always welcome.
Oh,
I want to
me?
make that clear.
Okay. Wow.
You uncultured man, need to watch High School Musical. I guess you were.
I have a
too
riff
old
tracks
to
of
watch
High School Musical if you'd like to watch it.
I'm good.
It's pretty good.
I'm
so
good.
in.
it's
sounds
pretty
awesome.
good.
I will sing to all the
so-
songs though. Just a heads up.
Oh,
But-
I'm used to it. I have a little sister.
I'm definitely gonna probably come back to just cursed items.
Oh, you got more?
Not
Well,
you
there
know,
are more
There
cursed
are
items.
there's definitely more.
No, but like,
That's
did
the
you
only
prepare
cursed item in the
more?
world.
no, because I thought that would be enough. I don't want to like take up too much time.
I do
okay.
have some
Yeah.
questions about it. If you have the answers.
Yeah.
How did the families die? Did they die under, like, besides mysterious circumstances?
Right.
Did they die of, like, cancer, car accidents?
Oh, so that's actually one of the things that I was mentioning. Can you actually mention it, Tanner? So it's highly likely. I don't know if anybody has done a official like scan of the item, but it's highly likely that it's probably like something to do with maybe like some kind of like
It's
infection or virus
actually
or
made
maybe
of
some kind of
asbestos.
radioactive
Yeah.
material.
It's an asbestos statue.
Yeah, basically. It's cursed. Nah, it's just asbestos.
Like that Rick and Morty episode where they all worship the rock and it turns out to be like a radioactive source of power that
Yeah.
they could use. Yeah. That's what I'm picturing.
So that's what a lot
Actually,
of theories
This is a
are.
Rick and
What
Morty
I'm picturing
free
is
space.
the shrines that you pray to in Breath of the Wild, but
Yeah.
like glowy and green.
Yeah.
So the shrines in Breath of the Wild.
Yeah, basically.
I'll show you guys a picture of the statue as well because
Okay, yeah, I'm interested.
it's because when initially it was it could be it's looked as like a fertility statue.
Yeah, it
but
is.
it does the opposite.
Did the opposite, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I guess the opposite would be making.
Now I'm picturing the statue from Accepted. Have y'all seen Accepted?
I haven't seen Accepted.
What's that?
Please
Yo.
explain this movie.
Ah, that's good.
See, that could be.
Oh, that's goofy.
that's a penis.
That is definitely
That
absolutely.
is the statue from Accepted. Oh, no, it's not, but it's close.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's phallic.
it's phallic, but also
Slightly phallic, yes.
it's got hips.
Do they lie?
That's so it doesn't get stuck.
That's for you, the viewers, to decide. Tanner, what you got?
Oh, we're doing me. I gotta get my notes.
I can't even take notes. I just have this book.
He breaks out a good old.
Actually, I took
Book. I don't know.
considerable notes. Wherever they are.
Yeah, I thought I'd mix it up this week since last week I had 7 pages of notes. This time I have 0.
Oh wait, before we actually switch over, cool. Cursed items.
Oh wait, you didn't finish.
Obviously,
So
no.
Did you do you know how they died, or was it just?
Everything I was looking at was like, oh yeah, it's mysterious, it's unknown, but it wasn't like they were like, it doesn't look like they were like murder or anything like that.
Okay. Because, like, that's, like, the Kennedy curse. It's like, they all died in different ways. Like, if
Yeah.
it was all cancer, it's like, there's something in the water. But,
Or
you
the
know,
statue.
bullet to the head
It's
a
terrible
couple different
film.
times. Yeah. Not great.
That you've seen. You've seen that.
See what?
You've seen Bullet to the Head.
I don't know what bullet to the head is.
Okay,
I don't
never
know what
mind.
bullet to the head is either.
It was like when... Never mind.
Hey, I'm proud of you for not. Like, I enjoy your movie explanations. Don't get me wrong.
Tanner, do you believe in cursed items?
No.
Okay, but you believe in the 27 curse of 27.
Only on a superficial level.
Okay.
That said, there's a fair chance I'm checking out of here in 2 years, so...
That's what Ethan says, too.
Yeah, I know.
Well, you said it had like the criteria is they had to be handsome, right?
Yes, Norman. That's why. Obviously.
Problem number, I guess back to number 1. Famous.
What do you think we're doing here?
That's true.
You don't know, man.
All of our
Number 3,
millions
they
and
also
millions
usually
of
have
listener.
drug problems. I'm just saying, you got to get on that pretty quick.
He has been drinking a lot of White Claws lately.
A lot of White
That's a
Claws.
problem. All right, so I've got a topic. My topic is a little more localized because it happened in Texas.
Oh,
I've been there.
Oh, really? And it's not in any way supernatural, and yet I still found it a little unsettling. And I'll just leave that there for now.
it's like wet socks.
Yes.
Please.
This is the story of William Whipple Johnson.
Made up.
Please say it again.
William Whipple
Thank you.
Johnson. That definitely picked up. I'm so sorry if you're listening to this. So before I start, I gotta come clean about something. Like 100% of what I'm gonna say is ripped from 2 websites, word for word, almost verbatim.
Nice.
So it's tshaonline.org and findagrave.com
Okay.
are the 2 websites I'm citing as references here, and definitely not plagiarizing a little bit.
Our theme is death.
Huh?
Continue. Our theme is death.
Yes. So, this is a story, again, that I always
Isn't
grew
our
up...
podcast themed death?
Basically, yeah.
Okay.
I have thought about it. I have considered it. No. Last week, no one died.
Are we sure?
I mean, eventually, it was a long time ago.
Yeah, they're all dead now.
Continue.
This is a story that I grew up hearing. Again, I know y'all are going to get tired of those, but I got some good ones.
I'm
Really
excited
wanna
about
hear
the
it.
goat people.
Oh, I want to hear the goat people.
Is it the goat people?
It's not the
It's
goat
not the goat people. Not this time.
Wow.
So, like I said, those 2 sites I'm going to reference pretty heavily, but I feel like they did a good job of summing things up.
Yeah.
So, worth checking out if you're interested. That said, each one only sums up about half the story, give or take. And I felt like it needs to be told in its entirety.
Yeah.
So, William Whipple Johnson was born one of 7 children of Ethan S. and Jane B. Johnson in Ionia, Michigan. Okay?
I'm loving this so far.
In 1843. So, that's what we need to be picturing in our heads right now. 1843.
Hoop dresses and no women's rights.
You right. He became active in
Drink to
business
that.
in Ionia shortly after 1860 and formed a partnership with his father and younger brother Harvey to provide general merchandise for the people of Ionia. They hit hard times and went into massive debt during an economic collapse in 1873,
We've all been there.
and Johnson moved to Corsicana, Texas in the late 1870s to run from debts. It doesn't say that,
again.
but that's why he did it.
Yeah.
I get it.
In Corsicana, he entered into a short-lived first marriage and then eventually married Anna Fatzinger Campbell Johnson, I guess.
That's a name.
And that marriage stuck. Yeah. Yeah.
Could you get divorced back then?
He might have just shot her. Let's be real.
Yeah, that's
Again, no women's rights.
True. The 2 had 2 children. William Harvey Johnson, their son, was born in 1887. And their daughter, which for some reason I put second, was born first.
Wait. I have a quick question.
Okay.
How many Williams did he make?
Just the one.
Oh, I got confused. I thought he was one of 7. So, okay, the kid is named after him.
Yes, and his
For
uncle
some reason,
Harvey.
yeah.
William
for some
Harvey
reason, my
Johnson.
brain was like, he's got a brother William. That's goofy.
There's like 5,000 Williams in a town of 5,000 at this point.
No, sure. I'm just saying.
No, I get what you're saying.
But yeah, I thought they were siblings, and I was like, you can't do that. I mean, you can. People
Also-
do it, but
Like, it's weird because, okay, so he named his son William Harvey Johnson after himself and his brother, Harvey.
it's a little.
But then his
narcissistic,
daughter,
but sure.
like, all the information on her just says Marion. So,
that's it.
that's it.
Again,
Okay.
So
no
it's
women's rights,
William
women, white
Harvey
people.
Johnson and Marion. It's
Sounds like the Meg of the
Meg.
family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So she was born in 1882 before the son. I don't know why I put her second. She was just listed second in the article I was reading. Okay, makes sense?
Women
Cool.
were people.
So, we're going to get more on the 2 kids later. For now, we'll talk about William Whipple.
Yeah.
And I'm going to confuse you right now by saying, by 1880, William and Harvey Johnson, not William Harvey, just William and Harvey, the two brothers.
I think I've caught on now.
Okay.
My brain.
So William and Harvey lived in
You got one of us, lost the other.
Strawn, Texas, which is a real place.
No.
I've been there as well. There's a cafe called Mary's. They do excellent chicken fried steak. If you ask my mom, I think it's a little bland. They don't use enough pepper. And that's also where like a bunch of my mom's ghost stories come from, is that town.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Anyway. We're just going to not talk about the chicken fried steak? We're just going to leave it at that?
It doesn't have enough pepper. Put some pepper on and we'll talk about it. Yeah.
Okay.
And like the gravy doesn't have enough pepper to cover up that the steak doesn't have
That's
enough
what
pepper.
I want to know.
Yeah, no. It's not important. And neither is the fact that all the ghost stories are from there either. I just put that in to help connect the dots of my life for the listeners. You know?
Did you put the chicken fried steak in your notes? Or is that off?
I didn't.
Off the dome?
That's off the dome. But the dots thing, that's in the notes. So in Strawn, Harvey, and I put in the notes the brother, not the son, just one more time,
Sure.
became postmaster, and the next year William became assistant postmaster. Seems a little sketchy if you ask me. I don't think he was elected properly.
Yeah.
But the brothers became involved in horse and cattle ranching and the procuring and selling of cedar posts.
Hell yeah, brother.
Times seemed simpler back then. I don't know if that's true, but if I could make a living selling cedar posts, that seems fine.
I'm waiting for things to get weird.
Oh, just wait. So, selling of cedar posts, retail merchandising, and land acquisition. In 1887, they established the Johnson Coal Mining Company of south of Strawn in a town that was shortly after that time called Johnson's League, after them. Now it's called Thurber, Texas, which is extremely fascinating. Look it up. Anyway, so the purchaser of the coal was to be the Texas Pacific Railway, and the railroad agreed to build a line out to the mines. It was this whole profitable thing for everyone. Crazy. They made a ton of money. Then they went in together and built the Palo Pinto Coal Mining Company, and in November 1887, Harvey, the brother, died. But
Oh no.
not before he sold his entire estate to William for $1.
That's sus.
That's how you avoid taxes. See, there's a gift tax if you leave it to him in the will, but if you sell it to him for $1, there's no tax.
Yeah, that's cool.
So he knew he was gonna die?
Yeah.
Okay.
So let's see, where are we at now? In 1888, Johnson made arrangements to sell his mines to the Texas Pacific Coal Company, and in 1889, the Johnsons were described as living in the finest residence west of Fort Worth. Don't know what that
Well.
meant back then.
Now that just means you live west of Fort Worth.
Be nice. That's a real place. People
Yeah, I
live
know.
there.
I've been there.
Johnson's varied business activities between 1889 and 1900 included, and this is going to be a long list, the organization of joint control of the Stock Traders Bank of Strawn, lumber development in East Texas, acquisition of a stable in Shreveport, Louisiana, interest in Mexican cattle, lumbering and mining. His mining interests diversified into silver and copper mines, and he continued to provide cedar posts to ranches. He also became involved in the Acme Gas Company in Carthage, Missouri, the Central Coal Mining Company, the San Antonio, Llano, and Northern Railroads, and the International Construction Company. So he's like the monopoly guy.
Yeah.
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 The list keeps going.
Oh, boy.
In 1900, Johnson organized the Standard Coal Mining Company, which had to surrender its charter to the state due to failure to pay its franchise tax, because you know how those brothers like to avoid taxes. In 1902, the Mount Marion Coal Mining Company was organized with Johnson as the vice president. In 1913, Johnson organized the Forest Oil Company of Wichita Falls. And finally, on October 14th, 1914, Johnson died of typhoid fever in his home in Mineral Wells, Texas.
Okay.
Mineral Wells.
That's where the baker is, and it was just before the baker was built. That's in the notes, too.
It's all together.
So you can tell basically where my family comes from. So normally, this would be the end of the story. Obviously, he's dead. But I made a promise we'd come back and talk about the kids, right? So this is where the story gets a little unnerving. His daughter, Marion, unfortunately passed away on November 7th, 1885, at the age of 3.
Ah.
And his son William Harvey Johnson also passed on June 24th, 1894 at the age of 7. So I feel like I have to pause here.
Yeah.
And I wrote that into the notes. Pause here
Good.
to explain myself. I wasn't sure how to present this topic, and I asked people because I've never been through that kind of thing, and I don't know how I would handle it personally. But following the deaths of their children, Johnson and his wife couldn't find it in their hearts to bury the bodies. So they cleared a room upstairs and outfitted it with glass cases full of formaldehyde.
No!
Okay.
Where they kept the bodies
No!
so that they could visit them. The wife would regularly go and change their clothes and tend to them.
Tanner!
Yes. And it stayed that way for a long time.
Yeah.
Until eventually they constructed a small wooden mausoleum at their new home when they moved, which was connected to the house.
Okay.
And the same kind of thing kept up there until a flood came and almost destroyed it and washed away everything. Some ranch hands were able to save the mausoleum, and it was moved to the highest point on the ranch.
Uh-huh.
And that's about all of that, except after his wife, Anna, died in 1922,
No,
she
I
left
don't like where this is
specific
going.
instructions as the last living member of the family. And per her instructions, a stone mausoleum was built to house the bodies of her husband, and their 2 children.
Oh.
The building, once the bodies were inside, was to be sealed shut permanently and is still on the property. And I've been to the property. I've seen the building. I've been in the house.
Did you
It
see the
is-
bodies?
You mean the sealed shut mausoleum?
I'm just saying they could build a window.
I don't remember seeing the bodies, but I do remember...
That's something you would remember, I feel. I will sit back down now.
I don't
remember
remember
seeing
seeing the bodies.
everything else, and it is a very heavy feeling being there. So
Almost like there are 4 bodies just on the other side of this wall.
yeah. So that's my story. Like I said,
4
nothing
bodies right
supernatural, but still,
They have beating hearts.
they did.
Okay.
Still unnerving. I find it uneasy. It was always a story I was told as a kid with no real explanation as to who or what or why.
Yeah.
Just that an old man kept his kids' bodies upstairs.
I'm good. I don't
Yeah.
want to do that.
Because, hear me out, he crazy.
Well,
But it turns out, I don't know how I would handle that kind of grief, but it turns out, upon researching, because I started at the bodies, and that's what one
Yeah.
website covers, and I
Yeah.
got the name and researched him, and it turns out he's like a massive oil and coal magnate, like one of the founders of modern Texas at this
Yeah.
point. So,
Well, that's a pretty good transition, actually.
very
Well,
interesting.
let me. I can ask questions.
Yes,
Yes,
and then just
absolutely.
remember magnate. We'll get back to that, and then we'll do my seamless transition.
Yeah.
Perfect.
I'm sitting here looking very proud of myself.
So I
Appreciate it.
I mean, I guess, you know, when animals die, people get them stuffed.
I wouldn't, but
I.
yeah.
But those people are weirdos.
When get Zelda just kind of mounted.
I thought about it. It would creep. I don't think. It wouldn't be the same.
There's an excellent Vsauce video titled "Why Don't We Taxidermy Humans?" And the answer isn't because it's weird.
The answer is we sort of do, and then we
hard.
put them in the ground.
Well, no, it's because a taxidermist doesn't have much to go on as far as recreating what the thing actually looked like.
Oh, right.
They know what
So,
a deer looked like, and they have a deer plastic and deer skin, and they put it over that.
Right.
Just
So we
use
would
my
look
skull as a
terrifying.
mold.
Yes.
Peel it back.
Yeah, it's
Ugh.
man, all I can think of is magnets.
Well, they were
Blah!
they were in a glass
I thought you
case
said
of
magnets.
I did magnets.
Oh,
magnates.
then I heard
Or
maggots, like
Magnets.
eating.
Oh, that too.
I
the
heard
and
magnets.
that's why I
maggots.
made that
I
noise.
said both, but it was for the transition, right? Because we were supposed to remember
Magnates, not
Magnets.
magnets. That's-
Magnates. Magnets are like
magnets,
ferrous metal that's attracted to each other.
magnutes.
Continued. You have a story about another Texas magnate?
Not Texas. Actually, this one, I don't remember where he's from initially. But
The magnet? Is that from
yes.
like the ground or something?
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't want to be here.
Sorry. I was
No, go ahead.
I was listening to someone who was like, science is all a lie, and here's why. And one of their things was like, no one understands magnets still. And it was like, yeah, we got a pretty good understanding of them.
So F.O. Stanley was born in Kingfield, Maine. And he had a
What
twin
up?
brother.
I'm F.O.
F.E.
Stanley.
In June of 1849.
Okay, so 1840. Norman, reel it in.
We've lost him.
I don't understand why I laugh so hard at that. It's so dumb.
1849, so we're talking about like the same time period.
Yeah, vaguely. Let me see if I can find my page. So I have a whole book right here in front of me about this guy. But basically, the short version of his whole life, he got tuberculosis because who didn't back then? That was just the thing
That's
to
true.
do.
Everyone got it.
Yeah.
It was
So
White Claws and Jewel Pods, but a ravaging disease.
Should see if White Claw will sponsor us.
This episode is brought to you by... I think we reached out to them on the last episode and still haven't heard back.
Yeah.
So
I'll take Dr. Pepper sponsorship. You guys can have your White Claw. I just
like
don't
that.
like seltzer.
we'll try to get a hold of the Dublin group and see if they'll sponsor us. Anyway,
So this guy, his doctor was like, look, you're gonna die. 'Cause tuberculosis, we can't cure that. It's the 1800s.
What are you, stupid? It's the 1800s, man.
Yeah, we can't cure that yet. You
know
got
what
to
they
get
need?
some time.
They need a big hotel full of mineral water to cure them.
Or
It's
leeches.
coming.
Well,
Did leeches still cure everything back then?
they still do in some
Oh, we brought them back?
areas of the world.
Nice.
Well, I don't think they ever left some areas of the world, is what I'm saying. Anyway, that's not
We
important. to right now.
recreated the leech.
So,
I had more. I
I
could
know.
keep going.
I know.
I dated one. Okay.
Me too. We lost Norm again.
No, I'm good.
Okay. So his doctor was like, look, there's this place in Colorado. Go to Colorado, the mountain air. It might help a little bit. At the very least, it's gorgeous up there. You'll enjoy your final days. So he went up there to Estes Park, Colorado.
Plus, they got weed.
Not yet. Not until like 2015.
Wasn't that far off.
But so he rented a cabin with his wife and went up there for the summer and was cured, basically, because the air up there is a lot thinner, and some other sciencey stuff. I don't entirely know how tuberculosis works. I imagine it as just a really bad cold. I've never really looked into it or thought about it, to be honest. Now I feel very
Can we get somebody
goofy.
to fact check that one?
I
Hey
need
Siri,
a whole
what's
story.
tuberculosis?
Tuberculosis is an infectious disease usually caused by Mycobacterium tuberculosis bacteria.
Ah,
Would you
yes.
like to hear more?
Not really.
Sorry, I'm still not sure about that.
Okay.
Okay, that's not. It's still talking to me.
So should I go on?
So, basically he got cured. The thin air, and it was away from smog and stuff because it's like, even still, it's a very, small area away from nowadays it's about 2.5 hours from Denver, which is the closest big city. It's about an hour and a half away from Colorado Springs, which is the biggest city nearby. And for real, there's not a town for another 10 miles of mountain roads. Which is one of the reasons
The roads in Colorado are terrifyingly mountainous.
they fun.
Oh. Not in a Suburban, they're not.
You should try it in a Kia Soul, dude. But he really felt like he owed that town his life, 'cause he was cured of his crazy, incurable disease. So he and his wife spent every summer up there. And also did I mention he's incredibly rich because he invented the steam car, or like Stanley Steamer. That's his thing.
Sorry, I can't help but think about Family Guy when they're on the Titanic at the captain's table, and he's like, everyone here was the first person to freeze something. It's like, I froze the shoe because who doesn't love a cold toe?
There's our Family Guy reference. Go ahead and check that off the list.
There we go.
Obligatory Family Guy reference.
Yeah. So like growing up, he and his brother were really good at everything they had done. So like at 10, I don't know that it's exactly 10, but at a very young age, they were building violins and selling them for thousands of dollars of back then money. At least according to the tour of the hotel and this book that I bought also from the hotel. So don't know how super credible it is
You bought a
since
book
they
in a
are.
hotel lobby?
Yeah.
Okay.
They invented instant film. So,
because who doesn't love a cold toe?
So, they ended up selling the patent to Kodak. You might have heard of them. Because before you had to sit still for hours and hours to do it, and it was incredibly expensive. And so they just were like, that's lame. Let's do something cheaper and faster.
That's why everyone in old pictures looks like they're having a horrible time. It's because you have to stand still forever to get a picture.
Yeah.
I read a whole article about how, like, some people were fun back then, but everyone looks so serious because you have to stand still
half
forever.
an hour.
I mean, but like, what else are they doing? Come on.
Time went slower back then because they didn't have Twitter. That's a
true.
fact.
They only lived for 40 years, but it felt like 90 because no one was tweeting about how... Never mind. I was going to say tweeting about abandoning the Kurds or banning your champion for wanting American or human rights.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Go ahead. Are you holding something back? You got a thought?
I have several. No, but they did very well for themselves. Just in their like, hey, I'm going to try to do this. Let's see what happens. Oh, I just changed, film processing forever.
I do that too sometimes.
Me too,
Yeah.
but digital pictures have been around for a while and no one cares.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get it. But they long story short, they were loaded. They like really pioneered steam cars, which were the way to get around back then because they didn't realize gasoline was actually like way more efficient, and could make you go way faster. But
was this before or after they had like invented the internal combustion engine?
I'm not entirely sure. No. They raced internal combustion cars, I believe.
But that was like
raced
an elite thing.
Regular cars, yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Because they were very expensive to produce. But they raced and beat a car at one point. And then the record only lasted like a little bit because they were making so many advances in what we know as modern day cars. But they were doing okay. So he built his wife a nicer cabin because she loved the summers up there too. And then eventually they were spending so much time there telling everybody about it. Oh, well, let's just build a big hotel.
Naturally.
Yeah.
Right.
That's what you did back then.
You got the money.
I'd do that.
You built
Why not?
hotels or mausoleums.
Right after you pass go.
Yep. So
The trick is you buy all the cheap properties and put the hotels there. You become a slumlord. That's how you win Monopoly.
Slumlord.
I lost my train of thought.
That's
just
fair.
thinking about that. So yeah, he built the hotel, the Stanley Hotel, and invited all of his rich friends. He built a replica of, I believe, the Boston Music Hall because that was his wife's favorite place to be. And he built that so she could perform in it during the summers. They'd have little guys like Sousa wrote the national anthem. He'd play there sometimes. He'd tune their piano.
At what point was the national? This was the mid 1800s.
I would say later at this point, because he was born in 49.
At what point was the national anthem written then? I was under the impression that had been around.
Hold on. He wrote
forever.
Now you're making me question.
When was Philip Sousa alive?
Sousa. Well, no, they were friends. I know that for sure.
Okay. Well, I believe
he
you.
died in 1932.
Wow. I would have thought that. Never mind.
He wrote Stars and Stripes Forever. Wait, no, that's a movie based on him. On that stage, this little guy, Houdini, you might have heard of him. He performed there a couple of times.
Ah, yes. The famous boxer who died during a match.
Yep.
Is that not how everyone remembers it?
But anyway, so like they had big connections. They had a lot of people. And this, like everybody there, like everyone had a great time. And so people say that you can still hear parties in their ballroom. Because not all ghosts.
Don't get distracted.
I am distracted. He keeps pushing me off the couch. He's a dog. He's busy.
What else?
Okay,
so people, they say you can still hear the parties going on. Not all ghosts are around because of bad times. A lot of them, like this is kids' favorite memories growing up was hanging out with all the other kids while their rich parents were downstairs. Like,
so you've been to this hotel, right?
I have.
Did you hear the ballroom?
I didn't, but I did. So there's a story that you can still smell Flora's perfume, and I smelled it. I don't know if they were
Disney
spraying
Worlding
it behind it. Yeah. But I definitely smelled it by the window that they say you can smell it, which was really crazy. And then I have mentioned that I feel a little more sensitive to that kind of thing, and I always feel very spoopy. Yeah. They've got a flag up right now that over the last they had an American flag from the last 10 years. They put it up when one of the guys who would go there a lot, he was deployed, and he came back and he brought that flag and he gave it to the hotel, so they hung it up immediately. They put it in a case where it wouldn't be affected by light or air or moisture or anything. And over the last few years, they put it up the first time I had been to that hotel, and I've seen it in the last year, and you can see a face in it, which is pretty weird, especially because it's a sealed case.
How do you make a case where it won't be affected by light?
I don't know if it's not affected by light. I'm just saying what I remember.
If you can see it.
Okay, maybe it's just not affected by moisture and temperature.
Nora and I we're curious.
If it wasn't affected by light, it would just be a black box.
I take back the light. I take back what I said about the light. But
it would be a bird box.
Bird box.
So Stanley he gave the entire town electricity for free because he felt like he owed his life to this hotel, and he had the means to do it. So he wasn't like a bad rich guy. He provided the town with electricity. The hotel was one of the first hotels in the world to have full electricity.
You know how people are always like, I should have been alive in the 80s and stuff like that. I should have been alive in the 1860s.
Mm-hmm.
Why?
Because everyone was rich for no reason.
Steam cars, bro.
What, steam cars?
Kodak moment,
film?
They made that.
I was the first person to freeze a shoe. I could do that.
That's the third time he's made that reference.
Really leaning hard in that one, huh?
I want to hammer home the point.
Just because there were good times there doesn't mean that bad things didn't happen. So there have been no reported tragedies on campus, except so
I'm ready for this except.
Someone wants to stub their toe on the 4th floor.
There's only 3 floors. But you didn't know that.
That's real spooky.
Maybe there are 4. I've only been in there 5 times now.
How tall is it?
Huh?
How tall is it?
Some floors.
Okay.
At least 3.
Cool.
But I think just 3. And a basement. But it's a basement.
Built
on top of a mountain also.
I'm picturing the Overlook Hotel. Continue.
funny you mentioned that. We'll get to that. Tanner's looking around very excitedly. So one night, one of the maids the power had gone out in the hotel because there was a huge storm. And so she was going around lighting the gas lamps everywhere. Well, one was left on in one room, 217. And as soon as she went to light that lamp, that entire wing exploded.
Wow.
So
that is a huge oversight on someone.
Yeah, so
On the ghosts?
this
You think
was
the ghosts
still...
left the lamp on? Ghosts hate lamps.
Do they?
I assume so.
Um,
Ask my lamp.
This
See what
was
he
when they were still alive. Stanley was still alive. And he felt terrible. So she survived. But the only thing that the newspaper... Yeah, right? The
Whoa.
only thing the
that like
newspapers
the
really
origin of
agree
Two-Face?
on...
She's like Sylvester Stallone.
It was pretty miraculous how she survived because she should not have survived. Some of the reports, because there were 5 different stories in the local papers about it, but they all agree that she at least broke her ankles and she had to stay in the hospital for a little bit. And Stanley said, "Don't worry about anything. I'm taking care of you forever." So he paid all of her bills, and even back then, it was expensive. And then, but she just kept asking, because he was like, "You don't have to work another day in your life. I'm going to take care of you forever." And she was like, "Okay, cool. When can I get back to helping your guests, though?" And he was like, "Dude, this is a free ticket." And she was like, No. That's my pride and joy. Because she would help the kids. She would unpack for the guests that stayed in her area of the hotel. And some say that she still does that to this day. Some people report that if you stay in that wing of the hotel, they'll put their suitcases on the bed, go down for dinner, in their dining room or at their bar, which, by the way, very good drinks. And they'll come back and all their clothes are put up.
That would be nice.
It would
That'd
be nice.
a nice change of pace
Yeah.
for the supernatural realm.
For sure. And then sometimes there are other stories of people, like little kids getting lost or separated from their parents. It's a pretty big campus. And then a nice man is like, "Hey, man, are you okay? Can I help you find your parents?" And they will. But then their parents are like, "No, you just walked up without anybody." And they're like, No. Like, a nice man helped me. And they'll point at the picture of Stanley, who's been dead for 100 years now. So people are still being taken care of on this campus. So it's one of those nicer ghost stories where everyone is very kind. What's that face, Norm?
What was his last name again?
Stanley.
Oh.
What was his first name?
F.O.
That's right.
It was something goofy.
I remember now.
Hold on, I can find it in 3 seconds.
No, it was F.O.
No, I know, but it stood for something. Freeland Oscar.
Freeland Stanley?
Freeland Oscar Stanley.
Freeland Stanley?
That's why he went by F.O.
Yeah.
That sounds like a literary character. Like that name is supposed to mean something and your teacher's going to make you analyze it, but...
Speaking of literary characters, you ever heard of this guy, Stephen King?
Once or twice.
Yeah. So he and his wife were driving through the mountains. Stephen King he had a really bad writer's block.
So formal. Just call him Steven.
Stevie
I
King.
think he prefers Steve, yeah.
Stevie K.
Mr. King, if you're listening.
Mr. King.
And you have a preferred way you'd like to be addressed, please
tweet
write
at
in.
us.
Actually, if you'd like to come
right.
on for an interview, I want to talk to you about Cell and why that hasn't been optioned for a better movie yet.
Anyway, he was going through the mountains. He was trying to get through his writer's block, so he just went on vacation with his wife. He can kind of afford to do that whenever, turns out. And so he stopped. There was a blizzard coming in, and he stopped at the Stanley Hotel in Estes Park. And they had pretty much closed up for the season because they, at that time, they closed for winters because winters up there are brutal. Like, today they got 3 inches
This sounds
of snow.
oddly familiar.
like today they got the high was 18. And the low.
Did you check
was
weather
3.
as part of your research?
No, that's actually where I'm going next week.
Oh, okay.
So I was checking that. That's how I know about this hotel so much is the place that my mom has up there is down the street.
I'd like to read the book. I have to say the Microsoft Paint fonts are really drawing me into it.
This book is not well put together, and I love it. It's so goofy and so like.
It looks like so. There's a lot of
like.
I was talking about like the
a lot of dramatization,
Mineral Wells, Palo Pinto area, and there's a lot of like that kind of book in that area circulating.
That
love
kind
it.
of book.
Yes,
I love it. Let me see if I can find some of the ghost pictures in here.
Keep in mind,
goofy. No,
our
no,
guys
they're
aren't going to be able
fake.
to see this.
No. Okay.
this is kind of an
This
auditory
is an
medium.
audio, but
You do
While
know
I'm
how
talking, I can
podcasts
show
work,
you.
right? In this format.
can we stop ganging up on me? Oh my gosh.
No.
Anyway, so he drove up. He was like, "Hey, can we stay the night?" And they were like, "Well, we only have one room left, but like, yeah, we haven't torn it down yet. You guys can stay."
Is it the room with the old naked lady ghost in it?
No.
I bet it's the room with the old naked lady ghost in it.
What does the ghost of the woman that got blown up look like?
Just she looks fine because she didn't really get blown up, and she only got injured from her fall instead of just
I don't
the
think
explosion.
they talk about seeing a ghost. They just talk about their.
Well, actually, sometimes if an unmarried couple sleeps in the same bed,
She's a bigoted ghost.
No, she will like. They'll wake up with her, or actually, the men will wake up seeing her standing at the end of the bed, like looking really disapprovingly. Or she.
now I'm picturing Consuela.
Or she'll put their stuff. She'll only unpack the woman's stuff and not the men's stuff. It's she's set in her ways, and you gotta respect it.
It's just not fiscally responsible to divide those and double those bills forever, you know?
It's weird to stay in that
different.
belief, right? When you're dead and you
Yeah.
haven't gone to
You
heaven.
get there and you're like, oh,
She's doing
snap.
what she can,
It turns
you
out
know?
everything was okay. Everyone is people. This is ridiculous. I can't believe they made it into heaven. Look at them.
But yeah, so
Yeah, so he stayed the night.
he stayed the night. Since everything was empty, he kind of had free reign of the hotel. And so he took the opportunity. He couldn't sleep. He walked around.
I want to throw out quotes so bad, but I won't. Did he go to the bar?
He went to the bar.
Lloyd!
And he talked to
I'll
the
have
bartender.
a little bit of the hair of the dog that bit me.
I can't remember his name, but he named
my
a
head.
couple of
Sorry,
the
dog.
characters after that bartender.
Lloyd!
Yeah, Lloyd is definitely one of his names. He named two different characters after the bartender, after his first and last name.
Oh, okay.
But they
What
talked.
are we referencing?
The Shining.
The Shining.
Oh.
Well, spoiler. The Shining. And they talked all night. They exchanged stories. The bartender was like, dude, it's the end of the season. I haven't done my stock yet, so whatever is left is what's left, but drinks are on me. So they were up all night talking till like 2 or 3 in the morning, which is what we usually do. And so King went back to bed. He went upstairs, super drunk, and he had a nightmare when he got to his room about his son being chased. Because in the hallway, there's still the hoses from the gas lines into the lights, and they aren't anymore.
I'm gonna geek out.
But at the time, they were. So he had a dream of his son being chased by the gas line, and of women in bathtubs, disintegrating in the bathtubs, and
Little twin girls.
little twin girls upstairs. And he woke up and he got on his typewriter and he started typing away until sun. Thank you.
I was gonna make a joke, but then Norman threw beer all over my apartment.
It's not beer.
No, you're right.
About black cherry. I've been trying to get that. I'm so sorry.
Oh, have you?
I love black cherry.
I'm sorry. I just hate grapefruit.
But by the time the sun rose, he had the outline for The Shining.
That's a good one.
Yeah, for sure. And a lot of the
Stanley
imagery
Kubrick
that he
confessed.
put... What'd you say?
Nothing.
I didn't hear you.
I didn't hear
but
you
I
either.
need to confirm.
We could just hear him when he posts this.
Yeah, but I need to respond to it right now.
There's a theory that The Shining, the movie, is how Stanley Kubrick confessed to
The moon landing.
being complicit in helping fake the moon landing. Anyway,
Stanley Kubrick, I've seen a tweet. Stanley Kubrick was so incessant about being accurate, though, that he insisted filming the moon landing on location.
that's a good one.
But yeah, so...
He made that poor woman cry.
A lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Stephen King has huge issues with the movie.
Yeah, I know, and it's weird because, like, it's a Hallmark movie. It's not
Yeah.
a Hallmark movie. If it was, it'd be a lot worse. But
There would be a lot more love.
landmark movie.
It's a
I'll
landmark
say that.
movie.
Also, they're doing a
sequel.
sequel.
It's coming out soon. I kind of want to see it.
It has Obi-Wan in it.
Yeah. Ewan McGregor.
Yeah, it does.
But a lot of the imagery he used also that came from the dream are ghosts, like real ghosts in the hotel. So like the twin girls, they're ghosts in the hotel. I can't think of any other examples, but
The old lady in the bathtub?
I don't think the old lady in the
Did
bathtub.
she start out as a young lady? I remember her starting out as a young lady and then getting old.
She does that in the movie and the book, but so not all of it, because he had to add his own flair to it, but a lot of it actually comes from reports of the hotel that he actually hadn't heard before. He just heard in that dream, or he got in that dream, and like that was...
Do they sell copies of that book in the lobby as well?
Dude,
like,
yeah.
do they play up the fact
Oh
that
my
they're the
goodness,
inspiration?
yes.
Okay.
Oh, for sure. They just built a maze in the...
What? I have to go to this place. You said
I'll
Colorado?
I'll send you lots of pictures.
Yes, please do.
Yeah, because we're gonna... Every time we go, and we go at least once a year, we do a tour.
I have to go.
It's pretty cool.
I love a hedge maze, especially one with a
The
crazy
hedge
man
maze,
with an axe in it.
does come to about my knee
Well,
because they just
they'll grow.
planted it. Yeah, so in the next 5 years, it should be above my head. But it's really cool and it's gorgeous up there. A lot of the building is still the same, and then so the reason that they didn't film The Shining the movie there is because it's a very historic building and it's very, very important to the town, like sentiment wise. And Stanley Kubrick was like, "Hey, I need it to look like this, so we're gonna tear everything out and we'll keep the outside." And they were like, "No, that is not what we're
Yeah.
gonna do."
I can imagine that not
he
going
went,
well.
Okay, bye. And so he left. And then he and Stephen King kept butting heads, so Stanley Kubrick actually fired him from the set, which is why... Well, actually, so Stephen King was like, "Look, I want to try again. I want to do it myself. Let me do it myself." And so he got permission to make his own short series with
Yes.
the condition that he can't keep trash talk in the movie. He's not
I've
allowed to say
seen
anything
his
bad about it ever again.
version of it, and I don't like it as much.
I don't like the movie.
You don't like the movie?
We'll talk about that later. This is the wrong podcast for that, I feel. Look at me with a little more disgust. That's going to change my mind. I don't like the movie. I really like the short
It
series.
is a landmark film.
Stanley Kubrick is
Big
overrated.
Kubrick fan. No, he's not. 2001: A Space Odyssey.
Okay.
Real world
We'll talk
technology
about it.
comes from what he imagined for that
We'll talk
movie.
about it later. He's just staring away in disgust. I have my own opinions. You have yours. It's
He's
fine.
a film director, and he came up with the idea of how we would
So am
simulate
I.
gravity in a zero gravity situation. All right, let's move on. What's next?
So that's basically, I would like to do a deeper dive into this one day, but that's kind of the highlights, and one of the reasons I find it so interesting is, and why so many people kind of know about it, and it sounds familiar because it is. It's The Shining. It's really interesting. It's a really cool place. It's definitely still got a weird energy to it. People hear piano playing all the time when there's no one near the piano.
You have any idea how hard it was to complete that shot of the guy running in zero gravity?
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
I've opened a can of worms that I wish I could close.
I'm sorry. Continue.
No, you're not. No, it's a really cool place. They've got a lot of artifacts. They have stuff from the movies. A lot of movies have actually been filmed there. Like a scene from Dumb and Dumber was filmed there. And
Which one?
the first one.
No.
Oh, I don't know. I haven't seen it.
You haven't?
I haven't seen it. You know I've seen 4 movies. I gave you my whole list earlier. I ranked them for you.
We're going to do a whole film education with you.
Fine. I'm free most times.
That's going to be a Patreon thing that we do, is just film ed.
Starting with Austin Powers.
Yes, and with you.
Emily's film education as a film major.
I started a list of like really famous movies that even I haven't seen, and we should start there.
I have a poster of a top 100 movies of all time. I've seen about 20 of them. And you scratch them off when you see them. So it's fun. But, so when people film there, or like really famous people stay there, they get first dibs on that haunted room. And Jim Carrey was staying the night there on one of the nights of filming. Wow. And he ran out in the middle of the night, said, "I'm not staying here. Book me somewhere else. I'm not going back into that hotel." And he won't, to this day, he will not describe what happened.
I would love to sit down with Jim Carrey and talk about this.
I would love to sit down with Jim Carrey.
If you're listening.
Full stop. But also, he even still, when people ask him about it, he's like, no. But yeah, the hotel has a lot of history, and it's still a really cool place, and people have experiences all the time. I'm going to finish by telling my favorite story. I can't confirm it. I heard it. This is like a fourth-hand story, but a man stayed in one of the rooms. It was his wife and his favorite place to be. And he woke up in the middle of the night to just see her staring out the window with the window open, the wind just blowing in her hair. And he was...
This sounds romantic, but I have a feeling it's going to end tragically.
And it was a really nice moment since she had died 2 years before.
Ooh! What an
so
excellent storytelling, may I say. You buried the lead, but you did it on purpose, and it was excellent.
And you interrupted me twice. But it's cool. Yeah, that's one of my favorite stories, because, like I said, it's one of the, like, ghost stories are always so spooky and scary, and this one is just one of those, like, it's such a wholesome place. And it brings people together.
That was like one of those, have you
boundaries.
been on, like, 2-sentence horror?
I think it's pretentious, but yes.
That was like one of those.
She died of cancer. So.
That's sad.
Sad. Super sad. Especially like with my history. Like that's just a really heartwarming story.
Yeah.
It's one of my favorite stories of this Stanley. So.
Norman's just looks fried. He's wrapped up like the burrito he ate earlier.
I mean, I don't know. You lost me with the whole perfume thing a long time ago.
That was an hour and a half ago.
I was like,
I conceded that they might have just sprayed it before we went in there. Because it's
that's
like,
what Disney World does with like.
It's also
funnel
it's a
cake
tour.
smell.
It's an hourly tour. Like they gotta.
Oh yeah, they did that.
Yeah,
for
sure. And
like, they knew you were coming.
They tell the same story because I've been on that tour 3 or 4 times now. I also went to a show.
Was it there every time? The perfume.
Mm-mm. It wasn't.
Tour guide's getting sloppy.
And also, like, it is a cool tour, but like I said, they do it 5 times a day during the like even more during the summer. They got to make it entertaining.
Yeah,
but
no, it was a
even
good story.
Yeah, even if not all of it's real, like it's fun, and the way they tell the story is really engaging, and I definitely recommend that tour. It's really cool, really fun. I do like the regular tour. I don't even do the ghost tour, and they tell the stories. So, I also went to a show there with a spooky magician, and I saw one of his dolls move, and that was not part of the act. And I just remembered that. I blocked it out of my memory. Also, that's the place I might go to a seance next week.
Lester, care to weigh in?
That's true.
Yeah, he had a bunch of haunted and cursed objects on stage with him.
Oh, like
The
Lester.
Magician Man. And one of the dolls, he like finished his show. He had walked away. He was talking to someone, and the doll just went.
No, no.
That looks like Gravity from the way.
No.
Look, we're not going to get into that.
Anyway, I saw it move. It was spooky, and I needed to leave. And of course, that's the night that we stayed the night in the hotel.
So, yeah, our theme is things that still exist.
Death.
Yes. Yeah. Death, hotels, and statues.
Mausoleums, statues, hotels.
Cool. That sounds like a reasonable enough title right there.
And at that point, I say it and I look into the camera.
Once again, this is an audio.
The camera's up there.
Oh, right, I forgot. Yeah. Oh, yeah, he has it. Actually,
There is a camera here,
Is
yeah.
it on?
And actually, yeah, it is on. I've been getting alerts every time someone moves,
Yeah.
so that's neat.
That's weird.
Well, it lets me know when movement's detected. It's usually just Marty going to the bathroom on the ground because I've been at work for too long.
Marty.
I thought that sentence was going to go differently.
Also her peeing on the floor because you've been gone too long and don't have toilet paper.
Okay, so that was it. That was our 3 stories. Hope y'all
No
had
notes,
fun.
and I still went the longest. My bad.
Yours was twice as long as mine and Norman's.
But it was the best one.
It was
Thank
good.
you.
Yes, it was excellent.
I enjoyed it.
Oh, so you didn't enjoy mine?
Eat
Wow.
that, Norm.
Dang.
This is
This
a,
is
Should
a
have gave her a mic
competition.
for that specific
this
reason.
is some kind of girl power thing they have going on. I don't know.
I love it.
That's fair.
I love the support,
They're
and also
isolating us.
you agreed too. So
I have no idea what you're talking about. I can't vouch for anything I've said before right now.
All right, you're lucky this is the 1800s.
no women's rights.
Okay, well, should we wrap it up here? Anyone have any closing thoughts?
There's Superman on TV.
Besides that, I am at I'm still Tanner on Twitter. My Instagram, I don't know my Instagram. Follow me at Channel 3 Pod.
It is
or-
mentioned in the description of all of our social medias what all of our different handles are if you forget them.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I did that
Oh, thanks.
on purpose.
So yeah, you can find me if you go to Wi-Files Pod and then do a little reading. You can find my personal one there if you're really that
reading.
interested. I don't understand why you would be. Most of what I post just also gets posted on Wi-Files Pod because it's mostly about the show. Go ahead.
It's me. I'm Norm, of course. You can find me at Unhappy Bananas on most everything.
Bone juice.
Yeah, working on that.
Bone sauce.
Bone sauce. Why do I keep messing it up?
I know you're messing me up.
Times last week, sorry.
Please, no one take that. No one take that handle on anything. I'm gonna be
Change the
working
handle
on
to
a whole
bone sauce.
You might have to be bone _ sauce.
No.
That's gonna be
Let me look it up.
X _ bone _ sauce _ X.
lowercase
69.
x, capital X, bone sauce, capital X. Lowercase
Anyway,
X.
follow me, like my stuff, give me those free internet points that I so desperately
so juicy.
desire.
Speaking
and,
of internet points,
yeah.
that short story I posted to Reddit, it has been downvoted since last we spoke.
That was me. That was me.
So
That was me. I went in with all my accounts. I'm like, he got too cocky with this.
double digits? No way.
Proofread that before you post.
I did twice.
Hold on, I'm looking up bone sauce on Instagram.
Yeah, we're checking bone,
Bone
sauce.
sauce is ready.
Who's
Anyway,
bone sauce 3?
Did he really have to be 3?
Oh, there is a bone sauce.
No.
His last name is Bone.
Oh, he's got.
Ah, dang
That's
it.
cool. He's cool.
No, we can't dox him.
Anyway.
Bone sauce 4.
yeah, exactly. Anyway, Emily, where
Hold on.
can the people find you?
Do you plugs?
Electric bone glue. That's funny. That's not mine though.
Yet.
No, it's literally someone else's. But
Yet.
Ninja Squirrel.
I am Ninja Squirrel everywhere, NJASQRL. On Instagram, I mostly post selfies and my cat. Both of which, I'm going to say it, quality content. On Twitter, it's a bunch of dumb jokes, though, and on Twitch, it's more dumb jokes, so...
I'm trying to nail down my Twitter personality. My last one didn't really take off like I expected, so...
What do you
See,
mean?
my mom told
My
me to
last
start
tweet,
tweeting more.
I thought would go viral, and it hasn't yet.
What is it?
My last tweet that wasn't about my stream said, "Is this happiness? Did the cold front cure my depression?" And it got a lot of likes, and I'm proud of that one. That's very funny. I did stop tweeting for a while, and my mom said, "Why don't you tweet anymore? I like your tweets." And I went, I cannot let her down. So and she'll go through every few days and just like all my tweets and all my retweets, and I appreciate that.
Just in case none of that made the final cut, thanks for listening.
Thank
Also,
you so much for
find
listening.
us on Twitter and Instagram at YFilesPod. We have a website.
Channel3media.com.
Find our merch. Find our goofy stuff.
Yeah, find all of the shows under the banner, although I'm going to be honest, it's been a while since Channel 3 has done anything, and as for the other show, I don't know if that's going to happen anymore, but we're going to replace it with something else.
Yeah, Bone Sauce Boys.
Oh my gosh.
For sure.
That would be amazing. I would buy
I
a
wonder
shirt.
how hard it would be to keep that show posted and just change all of the information to... Look, we'll talk about it later.
We'll talk about it later, but thank you so
Good
much.
night,
Thanks for coming to
everybody.
this
Good night.
production meeting. Sorry, moms.